In class, we'll discuss why sometimes you choose to do a population pyramid with the actual population count, and sometimes you'll choose to use the proportion of the total population, usually expressed as a percentage of the total population. You've already seen how to create a population pyramid using the counts. I'm now going to show you how to do it and what it would look like using percentages. First of all, we need to calculate our percentages. Here we've got the total, so we'll be able to determine the percentage of that total that the male population and the female population are. I'm going to copy my headings here so that I can keep track of what I'm doing. And this is a calculation table, so I'm not worried about appearance at this point. There's a new thing in Excel that you may or may not have seen. What do you do when you want to create a formula in which one of the cells you refer to moves and the other stays stable when you copy and paste? You use a dollar sign. So what I want to do is divide the male population by the total population and multiply that by 100 to get a percentage. So male population is in C4 divided by, now if I were to just click that and use B25, when I copied this it would move that down to B26, BC5, B26, so on, and that would be incorrect. So instead I'm going to put in this dollar sign, think of it as an S, and it's saying stable, stable, stable B, oops, stable S, and then that will force the formula to keep that the same. Okay. I'm going to copy and I'm going to paste all the way down. All right, and then I'm also going to change my decimal level because we're talking about percentages that add up to a relatively, it's like 50%. I'm going to double check and make sure that that's correct. I can just copy that sum. There we go, 49, that's correct. All right, and then I'm going to come over here, same thing, equals, open parentheses, female population divided by the total population, but let's make sure that that cell is stable. That's going to be B25. Oops. Okay, whatever. There. B, dollar sign 25, close parentheses, times 100 so that it shows up as a percent. Copy, paste, expand my decimal level so I get to see what's really going on, and then double check that that's correct. All right, 4951 equals 100. I'm going to expand my decimal level one more so that that 100 plus will show when we go to make the pyramid. There, 0.01, 0.04. All right, so just as in with the counts, we need to convert that to negative. So I'm going to do that over here. Once again, copying and pasting that so I can keep track of what I'm doing. Equals 0 minus that. Return. Copy, drag it down, paste. Looks good. All right, so I'm going to copy this, line that up next to it. Oops, problem. Problem is that reference no longer works. What I needed to have done was paste my values. Paste values. There we go. Made a mistake. Undo, come back. Copy. When in doubt, undo is your friend. It'll get you around any mistakes you may have made. All right, there we go. That is a formula also. In order to stabilize that for making the graph, I'm going to copy, and then I paste right back in on top of it, but paste values. I can go straight to there, or I can do paste special and choose values. All right, so now this is ready to create a population pyramid out of. Need this. Now, I didn't take this over to a fresh spreadsheet, probably should have, but that's okay, we'll live. From here on out, it works exactly like the other population pyramid did. It's just that we're working with percentages, much smaller numbers than when we were working with counts. So I insert my bar, horizontal, looks weird, expand, click on one of those lines in order to format my data series, in which I now completely overlap and no gap. And as long as I'm here, I'm going to go ahead and change that border color, solid line, dark black. dark red, close. We do the same thing over here. Format data series, border color, solid line, dark blue, close. Now I'm going to click on this axis, format axis. I need to get it away from the axis and shift it to low, close. There we go. This comes to 5 and that comes to 5. Because none of our values actually hit all the way to 5, they only come up to just shy of 4, I'm going to change that. Right click on that, format axis, and I'm going to fix that at -4, and I'm going to fix, oops, not that, auto, fix that, so my minimum and maximum at 4. There, that spreads it out just a little bit. I might change my mind. I might decide that is a little too tight. I don't know. I'm going to come up here and just do a quick, there we go. I just lost. Now that's why we usually do these pre-formats before we do any other changes. So now I have to go back and do this again. But that's okay. It did at least keep my lines. All right, I need to click on my chart. I need to deal with my layout. I need to add an axis title. I prefer rotated here. And as long as I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to drag it up, oops, close. Drag it up ever so slightly so it's not sitting right on top of those. All right, and then I need to, again, add myself another axis title, my primary horizontal. Percent of total population. That's important so that people know what we're talking about there. Right. Format axis, I clicked on one of the numbers, so I'm going to do that little number trick. Number, I need to do a custom. With this code, I added it already last time, but it's 0, semicolon 0. Close. There we go. That looks good. That looks good. Last but not least, I'm going to format my legend. I'm going to uncheck Show the Legend without overlapping the chart. Other versions of Excel have a slightly different mechanism to do that, but it will be on this page somewhere. All right, I'm going to grab that, move that up there, and close. And then I'm going to show you a little trick. I don't want the word population there. Remove. I don't want the word population there. Remove. Now, I was kind of hoping that would refresh on me, but it did not. So I'm going to go back and redo this just to make sure that I get the word population out of there, because it's not really population. It is and it isn't, but there we go. There's still some minor formatting tweaking I need to do, give it a proper title, all that kind of stuff. If I put this in a Word document or presented it as a standalone spreadsheet, I would need to make sure that my source was available there. You'll notice it looks a little bit different. It's very similar to this one, virtually identical to that one, simply because it's proportioned out the same way. But if we were to be comparing the population pyramids of various countries, we would want to set our axes, maximums and minimums, to be very similar to our, there we go, our axes, maximum and minimums for each other. That is basically so that we could then see that the total amount of area being taken up helps demonstrate the size of the population. If we were comparing this to a population pyramid of Liechtenstein, for instance, that would be kind of like a popsicle stick, just straight up and down virtually and extremely narrow compared to this because it's a tiny population. But were we looking at the proportion of the population with similar, 4% as our outsides, which is pretty typical, they would end up with a very similar looking appearance. We'll talk more about that in class.